Ladies and gentlemen, here at Tokyo Game Show, I am going to introduce something to you that has revolutionized arcade joystick parts for all eternity. Everything that you know is obsolete. And I have here Brian Armitage, who has a very authentic, mind you, Aloha shirt to give. He's spreading Aloha to the community by revolutionizing everything and making things better. It's all about that progress. Can you please tell us what this contraption does and how it has changed everything as we know it?
Thank you, Zeep. We set out a few years ago to create something that would redefine how sticks are modified. We've done a number of things in the past with actuators and other pieces on the stick. And what we wanted to do was we really wanted to do something with the stick where we allowed the user to define how the stick reacted to their motions. And so what this really does is, everybody's familiar with the flash and the optical systems, and those can detect kind of 4-way movement, translate it into 8-way, and they're gated. What this system does is it kind of takes the field of movement of the joystick and redefines it as a digital output.
So it's software controlled what your output is interpreted as.
Yeah, so basically if you think of it, what you can do is you can use software to create what we'd call a map. And that map defines what a certain movement or direction of the joystick translates to in the microswitch output. So these outputs are just like a regular JLF. So it's a JAMA compatible or a common ground compatible system. So you can plug a regular JLF plug in here, give it some power, and then it will translate your movement to those signals. So a good example would be like, let's say you're a player that's always hitting a diagonal and moving forward.
I have that problem.
You can make your diagonals a little smaller, make your cardinals a little bigger, and then all of a sudden you're not hitting your diagonals by accident. Let's say you like a more sensitive stick, so you're putting these actuators in that are a little bit bigger, you're putting the tape around like the old Aki Shop mod.
Right.
You can use this to make the stick more sensitive. Or you're somebody that rides the gate, you can make it less sensitive.
It's sort of like fine-tuning a tennis racket.
Exactly.
To the exact tension that you want it to be.
Exactly. So you're not limited by the actual physical interaction of the stick with switches.
I think that's what we've needed, because a lot of people complain, such as King of Fighters, which is a notoriously high hurdle game. Execution is known to have destroyed many a good player, and this sort of brings, you can get closer to the game and just jump right in there instead of having worried about hit every diagonal and doing those crazy SNK inputs. Now you can, would you call it a handicap in that sense, or?
I don't know if it's a handicap, but it allows you to tune the stick to your own personal fighting style. So you can take a look at what you're having problems with and try and move it a little bit this way, move it a little bit that way, see what you can do. I think one of the nice things about this, we took a couple of things into account. Some of the more advanced players, they're so used to hearing the click and feeling the click. We wanted them to be able to kind of get into this and then move from there. So we left it so you could keep the original switch plate in, get used to playing with this plate, and then it's simply just, you pop your bottom off. Yep, just like a regular restrictor plate. This comes off, the switches come out, this goes back on.
Voila.
Done.
The game done changed.
Completely silent.
So your grandma could be next door, sleeping soundly, and you could be playing as loud as you want in the living room without stirring her. Wow, this would be good for a lot of thieves and Santa Claus when he's going down your chimney. I guess the next obvious question is it tournament legal, and when can I get my grubby paws on this miracle device? So
the first question is kind of contingent on the second one. We haven't released it yet, so we don't know if this is going to be deemed tournament legal to start. Our goal is to control this as a closed source software system so that we can maintain control over it. Just like a lot of the other software systems we use, like PS360 or other things. You can use those to modify them, but because the software is controlled, they're allowed in the tournaments. We're going to do the same thing with this. So we're going to make sure that there is a tournament legal version of this available. As far as getting your grubby paws on it, we're hoping to have this out by December of this year. Dirty Gaijin paws. It'll be in time for Christmas. And so if I wanted to block both directions, you're preventing that from happening by using a closed software system? Yeah, so our software will be done in such a way that it complies with tournament specs. And just like any other system, when they got into the issues with hitboxes and other things, and having those restrictors in there are ways of circumventing that, but it's our goal to make sure that that's avoided.
There you go. If there were no video games, this man would be doing other better things like curing Ebola. But here he is helping us gamers out with bringing the execution level down so that we can finally hit those crazy infinite Yuri loops. Thank you very much, Brian Armitage from Paradise Arcade Shop. Look for this holiday season and beg the Cannon Brothers to make it tournament legal. Go, go, go.
This is Brian from Paradise Arcade Shop. I want to thank everybody for checking out the new non-contact programmable stick that we showed earlier and talk about some of the new developments in our LVT3 board that we brought out at EVO this year. There's been a great response to this board. A lot of people like it, and we've had some really great feedback. But one of the questions has been, how do we program this board and set it up? Just to show you quickly, the board fits into a standard TE stick. There's no soldering required. It's all just a plug and play with the cabling system that's in there in the existing system. We've also added a new product this year, which we'll show in a second, in the stick. But we have a basically an LED panel for the sides. It goes underneath the translucent sides and allows you to have the light there. But without messing around too long, let's show you what's inside the stick and what we can do with it. So if we plug this into a USB port on a computer, hold down, kick 1, punch 1. It'll go into a programming mode where it's waiting for the to be scanned for the program. So what we have here is we have a very simple menu system set up to program the LVT3. We hit scan for the LVT3, it recognizes the board and instantly pulls over the existing programming. You can see the board is set up for blue on up, red on down, and some different colors in the direction of the joystick. If we show you over on the joystick what happens, you can see real time. The buttons turn red when they're pushed down. Let's say you want to have your punch 1, kick 1 be yellow when they're up. You just touch the yellow wherever you want it. You can adjust it on the little slider bars. Touch the up arrow, and if you look over here on the stick, they've changed. If you want the down to be green, you select green over here, down, and suddenly they're yellow and green when they push. You can do the same thing with the joystick. You can assign green to an up position, and if you move the joystick up, it turns green. Still red in the diagonals, and yellow on the sides. When you're done with all of this, you can hit store or recall. If you hit recall, it just resets the whole menu back to its original state. And then you're back to your red, your blue, and everything's back to normal. Once you set the programming up, we'll just change these quick. I'll change these top ones to green. We'll pick a nice like purple for the bottoms. And we'll do, let's say, a pink offset on the down. So now we've got this new color scheme that looks more like an Easter egg. We hit store, and it'll save that in the menu, send it over to the stick, and now we're ready to actually have it stored and saved, and we can run the system like this unplugged from the USB. This is the initial version of the programming software we made custom for coming out to the Tokyo Game Show. There's some other features that we have hidden down here that allow some of the special features we've shown in the past on YouTube. Some of the things like animations and other aspects of this program. Let me show you one other feature. We talked about the light lit sidebars, so I'm just going to unplug this and let it reset here. You can see it saved our programming mode, and on the sides you can see the blue LEDs pulsing here in a breathing kind of pattern. These LEDs have the same programmable abilities as these LEDs on top, so if we want to put a rainbow pattern traveling down the side, if you want to do an old Knight Rider type pattern going up and down the sides, all of those things are possible with this new stick. We figured this menu system and this easy programming system would really make it much more simple for players to customize this in and get exactly what they wanted on the stick, so they could really kind of decorate it the way they want. One of the biggest advantages about this LED board is you can just keep adding to it. And because of the indexable LEDs, we can keep adding on, and basically the only limit is power on the system. So we hope you guys enjoy this. If you come check us out, lvt3.com or paradisearcadeshop.com. lvt3.com will take you straight to the page that sells the board, and we're Paradise Arcade Shop. Thank you.